Well, hey everyone, time for Geocache Talk. Whether you're at work, in the
Shit.
car, wherever
Shoot.
you
Shoot,
are,
shoot, shoot, shoot.
we hope you enjoy the show. It kicked him out. Um, please give a like, subscribe on your favorite podcasting app. Um, hope you enjoyed tonight's show about the great sport of geocaching. If you're watching on YouTube Live, you can be part of the adventure tonight. Please join us in the chat room and participate with others as they watch the show. The link to the chat room is on the front page. We're having some technical difficulties, so sorry, I'm kind of working through this. So, Jesse, can we hear you now?
I don't know if you can hear me or not.
Oh, I can hear you. Can you hear us?
I can hear you now.
Okay, good.
Can we hear you? Yeah. I can
Yeah.
hear you. Can you hear me? All right, good. That
All
only
right,
took
good.
10 times of logging in. So that's normal, I think.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. All right, so I will now continue. The link to the chat room is on the geocachetalk.com front page. If you are listening later, please give it a like and subscribe on your favorite podcasting app so that you can get all the weekly Geocache Talk goodness. Big thanks to the Trail Bugs for the music and our featured patrons, RAR285, Chihuahua Jill, still love that one, so great. R&M Cachers, they're all good. Cal Running, DE Crypto Man, Julie D, Lost Boy Rambler, Houston, Texas Dave, Hulu UC, Adair MD, and our new patrons, Florida TB Hunter, The Caching Dead New York, Nakul, UDAC, The Dig Family, JB Opto, NYJ Fan, Keeper of the Cash Flow, GeoVet 91, Nitty Gritsky, and TX History Lady, or TX HIST Lady, Texas History Lady. So I'll probably just say that. So if you'd like to become a patron, head on over to patreon.com/geocache talk for more details. Patrons get the new blackout coins. They look like this. Oh my, I had to move my camera over. I'll tell you why in a second. But for those watching, there's the new blackout coin. Oh yeah, Jesse's got his right there too. Other geocaching items during the year, I finally got all the zipper pulls, these little doodads. I got
earrings, whatever you want to call them.
Earrings, whatever you want. I got those.
Nose ring.
Nose ring, if you're really excited about that. But I got that sent out. I'm showing the zipper pull right now, so that's very cool. We do have some at Geo Woodstock. We'll talk about that here in a moment. Special events, we've got 85 people plus coming to our patron dinner at Geo Woodstock. Very excited about that. I confirmed.
That's going to be a blast.
I tell you, and I confirmed the other day. I was like, okay, are you sure? Are you really okay with 85 people showing up? Like, yeah, we do 100. You're fine.
Did you speak to a manager, not just a waiter? Because that guy's probably already quit by now.
Right, yeah. I spoke to somebody who's in charge, which is good. Anyway, so if you'd like to become a patron, support level start at as little as Bison Tube level, which is $3 a month. Well, let me welcome my co-host who's now actually with us on the show, Jesse.
I'm glad to be here. I didn't know if it was going to happen. It was working for a whole show ahead of time, and then Chris shows up, and it all of a sudden stops working. I don't know if he jinxed me on purpose, if like I was thrown out of the union, what happened there, but I was thrown out of the Actors Guild or whatever it was. I didn't pay my dues.
Right. ASCAP.
It took 10 times to log out and back in to get. I could see you, and I could tell that you could hear me, but I couldn't
hear you.
I don't know.
Yeah, we could hear you so well that I'm going to have to bleep you out on the audio.
Yeah, whoops.
Yeah, because we could hear you just perfectly, my friend.
I hope you can hear all of it because I did have a little rant there.
We heard it all, so I got to remove all that.
Oops.
He was cursing the Google.
That's right. Oh, don't let the Google curse go out on the internet. I'll be banned from the internet forever.
I know. I got to take
Google's will block me. That'll be no good.
No.
Well, anyway, happy to be here. Happy to actually be able to hear you guys and be here.
Woo, that's awesome. All right, let's jump right into show 149 for May 19th as we welcome back to the show the Director of Treasure, Chris Williamson. Welcome back to Geocache Talk.
Hello. Glad to be back.
It's been a little while, and we'll talk about that. But so glad to see you, my friend. And we get to see you this coming weekend, right? You're coming down?
That's right. Texas. I'm Texas bound.
That is
All
awesome.
right.
Yeah, I'm going to be in your
Is there
backyard.
something going on in Texas this weekend?
Very excited. Yes,
Something.
there is something. There's an event in case you want to come down.
Couple new caches, maybe something like
Couple
that.
new caches.
It's Texas, so it's not going to be a big event or anything.
Right.
No, nothing big down there.
Nothing
There's
big
only
in Texas.
There's just a couple caches out here that have been published. So
Oh my gosh, they're driving me crazy with it.
yes, there's so many, but we'll get into that here in a minute. So all right, we got a lot to talk about, and
Yeah.
not a lot of time to talk about it. So we do have a couple notes we want to give first. A couple of news items. Geo Woodstock, we'll talk about that here. I guess should we cover a little bit of Geo Woodstock real quick, Jesse?
Well, there's a lot to cover, so yeah, we might as well, right? We're here. We're
'Cause
all going, so we might as well cover it.
Yeah, and plus we're going to get into treasure pretty heavily, so I don't want to mix and match too badly tonight.
Yeah, no need to deviate once we jump in.
Yeah, so couple things, and I'll try not to too much tonight, but I got so many things that I'm thinking about. The booth that we will have, that Jesse and I will be at, we plan to have at least one or two of us there, if not both of us there, all the time. Come by. We have a lot of items for sale. We have, let me see here. We've got your book.
I don't know what's going to be there. I have no idea.
Woo! Yeah. Geocache.
I'm excited about that one.
The game within a game.
Oh, yeah.
On the New York Times bestseller. I don't know if you noticed that, but
That's right.
I don't know if it made it there
Speaking
yet.
of games,
it should be on there. It should be on the New York Times bestseller list. So.
right. We should have a game for sale there.
We do. In fact, I have.
We do?
I have a copy of the game right here. Let me switch. Oh my gosh, I'm just a mess tonight. The game GC World. There's the cards for it. There's the cards.
Lots of fun to play.
Yeah, we actually did a playthrough of and there's all the caches and the gadget. There's a gadget card. You want to get a gadget card. You want to get one of those. You don't want to get one of those.
No.
I know, sad face. So we did a playthrough, and if you go to geocachetalk.com/GC World, I posted the video in case you want to see how the game is played. There is a rule card. So there is that. But if you want to see it actually in being played and get a feel for it, there is a YouTube video that I posted out there, as well as a copy of the rules, or not rules, the score sheets, in case you want to make a score sheet. You don't have to. You can just take a piece of paper and do it. But in case you want to be real official, like, you can have score sheets.
What if somebody wants to see it played live?
They want to
Where
see
could that happen?
Live. We're going to break out a few decks at the brewery at what's the name of that brewery? I have to look it up. The
brewery event. So
the brewery event at Geo Woodstock is where we're going to be playing GC World, and we'll break out some decks and get to it. I think you're going to enjoy it. I think it is a lot of fun, if I do say so myself. Although other people are saying that they're really enjoying it. They enjoyed our playthrough of it. I was very excited also to have my son there for the playthrough, because he's the art design for all the cards. So I was glad. I was so glad he was there. So,
well, the CFO played it, and she was very skeptical at first, and she said she had a lot of fun doing it. So she didn't think she was going to, and she did. And she'll say if she doesn't. She's not so nice. She would tell me she liked it if she didn't.
That's good. Yeah.
And she said it was a lot more fun than she thought, a geocaching game would be. So, so that was pretty cool.
There's some strategy, which is nice. I mean, it's not just, and you can play it a couple different ways. So that's the other cool thing, is you can kind of, one thing that Jeff May suggested when we went through the playthrough was, if you want to do like a DT grid type.
Oh, there's so many variations.
there's a lot of variations. If you want to go for 5 earth caches, or if you want to go for if you want to fill out a fizzy, or if you want to try for different things during the game, you could kind of make a variation of the game. The idea, though, is you try to get 5 categories completed, which is difficulty and terrain, the location in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Then you're going to want what are the other two?
Type, size.
Type and size, the other two. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So there's your 5. And then lastly, I do have the second edition of the 201 Geocaches to Find Before You Die.
The updated list book.
Updated list, and some people have already purchased it online, which is cool. There are. It is updated. There's several caches that are new to the 201, but the other cool thing is I went and put the old caches that were in the first one in the back. So it's kind of fun to kind of see which ones got removed or are not part of that.
Beat out, maybe.
They got beat out, but I wanted to kind of I had them in my doc, so I was like, I'll just put them at the end of the book and it'll be great. So.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So all right. So there's that. We are doing shows. If we will mention that we're going to do some pop-up shows. If you're in the area and you want to come on by, we do know of one show for sure, which is next Sunday. We will be at the GPS Maze, and we'll be doing the show live with a studio audience. So
our first live in front of a studio audience show. So if anybody's still there Sunday afternoon,
come by.
Come show up and support us and heckle Gary.
Right. So. Come by. Maybe there might be
I'll be heckling him for sure.
Be nice to Jesse.
I'll be in a nearby table heckling him all day. It's great.
Oh, there you go.
Gee, thanks a lot. All right, let's get to what do you want to get to next. You want to move on?
Should we mention, just for people that are going, or maybe at this point, if people are considering going to Woodstock, they just released another 225 GeoArt of challenges. They released a full matrix of where it goes, and there's another GeoArt down there, plus many others, plus 50 lab caches, GPS maze, the big event, breakouts. Gary's showing the map now with all those FTFs available.
And they're all FTF. Well, there's one, Lady Black Cat, and
they went and got one of them.
They did. There's one down here that they got.
They won't be FTFs by next weekend, probably. But maybe some of them. Who knows? There's a lot of them. 225. That's a lot.
And they're challenges. So some people who qualify for some of them may not be in the area, so you might find an FTF and you're like, oh, I qualify for that. I'll go sign and get that one.
So there's tons of caches and caching to do down there for the weekend.
There is
caches, new caches, outside of even there's a bunch of events between the NASCAR and the breweries and everything. So if you're coming, go enjoy the events. Come find us. We're going to be going to all the events, having a bunch of fun. We're going to try to do some caching too. So if anybody wants to jump out and do some caching, we'll bring them in our car, jump in their car, we'll caravan, we'll go get a bunch of cash. The whole weekend's about caching, right? And eating, because there's a bunch of good food down there too. So
there is a lot.
We're going to be doing that as well.
I'm looking now to see real quick. Let me find the one. Because it was our patrons. So this one is crazy that you have to have found 150 earth caches, and Carrot Killer and Lady Black Cat, a couple of our patrons, were FTF on that. So.
Guess who is not qualified for that one?
Yeah.
This guy right here.
This guy,
Chris.
I'm trying hard just to get to 100 based on a challenge I signed over a year ago, and it's killing me.
50 is awesome. So, all right.
That's not awesome. That's punishment.
That's this punishment.
That's terrible.
But it is awesome. So, all right.
So that's the Woodstock thing. Tons of stuff going on, but I mean, and I've already informed that we slipped up last week.
Okay.
I did not once say that's for another show. So The more Woodstock stuff is for another
Yeah.
show.
Okay, it's for
We
next
didn't say
week.
it again. That's for another show. So we had to get 3 of them in really quick before we
There you
started
go.
because we didn't say it once last week.
Is that kind of like chugging? The chug, chug, chug.
Yeah,
That's for another show.
shame on us.
That's for another show. The chat room's gonna be like, stop it. Stop it.
Yeah.
I'm not chugging what I have in front of me drink wise. So
All right. So let's cover the rest of the news real quick and then
yeah, go ahead.
So just quickly, we're not going to get into it because that's for another show.
Dang it.
We did the card games, we did the books. So the flash mob that's coming up again, that's June 22nd, I believe.
Right.
The 11 a.m. my time, 12 p.m. your time. Right. Depending on where you are, is the worldwide flash mob. Sunny and Sandy started that one. It's still going on. Absolutely. It's not a souvenir anymore, but a lot of people are taking part in that. So there's worldwide flash mobs everywhere. I have a CETO version myself, so it doesn't have to be a regular event. You can do it as a CETO. That's cool. So I've got a CETO flash mob this weekend. So that's coming up on the 22nd. So if you're going to get those in, go ahead and get those in quickly.
Right.
Also in the news, everybody pretty much knows by now they're releasing 4,000 more virtuals worldwide. Get in, sign up. If you're an active cacher, you're qualified. If you didn't get one last time, you have to have hidden a cache recently, have 25 favorite points. There's a bunch of stuff. It's on the blog, and it's all been covered by now. But go if you haven't heard of it, go out there, go to Geocaching blog. 4,000 new virtuals are going to release. They're going to spread it out a little more evenly this time.
I think so.
And have the qualifications. But what we're going to talk about in an upcoming show will be, if you get one, how to make it, some ideas of how to make it really good. So we'll get to that later, but that'll be another show. But the breaking news of that happening again for round 2, that's already out there. So we're not going to spend a bunch of time covering it. We've got Chris on tonight. We're going to get back to treasure and stuff like that. But we felt like we'd at least mention that we are going to get into that, and hopefully some really good ideas that'll inspire people to put some classic high favorite point earning virtuals out there.
Yeah, we're going to actually do a show on that topic and what we think would be great for new virtuals. We're going to do that show actually in, I guess, 4 weeks. Show 152 on June 9th will be the new virtuals 2.0. So stay tuned for more on that. So
we'll get more details of that one coming up. But just want to make sure to mention it in case you haven't heard about it, which a lot of people have by now.
Yeah,
just go to Geocaching blog and it's out there. It's all over social media and all the other shows have talked about it. So
yeah, we're gonna cover it in more detail in a few weeks. So all right,
well, we should talk about Treasure.
Let's get into Treasure the movie, which is kind of back. So Chris, talk for a moment just about that part, and then I want to kind of do a little bit of the Wayback Machine and talk about some things. But why is Treasure back?
Well, it's so I could sit here, look at my phone, and read all these great reviews about it.
Well, there's that too, but
yeah. Well, I at first nobody knew who I was or anything. So for your first film, sometimes you just got to make it, and then put your hands together, look up to the sky.
Right.
And so that's what I did. And we had a successful film festival run. And last year I had a sales agent go out to AFM, which is American Film Market. And I'll just let you guys know kind of a little bit about how distribution works, because that's really what all this is about.
We'll do that now, and we'll talk more. Right. That's good. That's what I want to do. Cool.
You finish a film, and then you have some choices to make, right? If you're lucky, you had a distribution deal before you even made the movie, and you already know where it's going to end up. But indie filmmakers, sometimes you have to make the product and have it in hand, because people don't trust each other. Anybody can make a movie. Anybody can make a movie these days. So if you just say you're going to, it could be a terrible movie. You could never finish it. I've seen all kinds of people pretend that they were going to make movies and couldn't do it.
Yeah.
So I pulled it off. And then I had basically a software. I self-released it. Yeah, a couple years ago, and so basically,
I have our copies. Jesse,
yeah. So
copy? I got my
So
copy.
that's
I may
you-
have to get myself.
so Chris, you sent us this. Like,
yes.
out of your,
So I was doing all of that work out of my own office in my apartment, right? Stuffing envelopes, sending them out to people, and that was great. You know, it's a lot of work though and stuff, but not everybody wants to buy a movie for $20, you know, but some people do, you know, so that's great. So it's called windowing. You know, they do it in the theater first, and then HBO, and then cable, and then online, you know, but it's all getting squished together now. So it's all changing because of the digital revolution, and the way people watch movies is different. So the cool thing though is that a guy like me has a chance to have a audience, a following like geocachers, and I can tell you directly and say, hi geocachers, I made you a movie, I have it available, right? So most people, like a lot of people, you know, ordered it from me, but now it's going to be more accessible. So I got a distributor, and what they did was they put it on Amazon, which, I mean, I could have done that myself, really, but what they can help us do from here is go to worldwide territories, which would be much more difficult for me to do that. So what they can do is help me out with that. And so getting a traditional distribution deal is amazing, because not every filmmaker gets that. A lot of movies that are made for very little money, like Treasure was, just don't cut it. They're not good enough. They're not good enough, so they don't get a distribution deal. But I worked really hard to keep working on it. I wanted the picture and the audio to be absolutely perfect. Before it went on any digital platforms, because at that point, there's nothing you can do. Like right now. The subtitles we got done, when Erica speaks the code in the film, they put the wrong letter on there.
Oh no!
It's like you try some. When you're a filmmaker, you can't do all the work. Like, no matter how much you want to, you need a team, and so
you did a ton. We'll get into that here in a second, but you did so much for that. I mean, we'll talk about. Let's talk about it now, because I think it's fascinating. Because I remember calling you, and I'm going, hey, I called you about for something. I was like, what are you doing? He goes, I'm redoing the color on the entire movie. And I'm like, oh, that's gotta be that's gotta be a pain. He goes, oh yeah, it is. You better believe it's a pain. Now, the cool thing though, and I think people don't realize, is that you put the movie together, and then you kind of almost layer things on top of it that need to be layered. So you got, is it Andrew Faust?
Yes.
So Andrew, very famous composer. And you got Andrew to help, and to do the orchestration, to the music and everything, which is perfect. The music
is amazing.
He was incredible. I mean, I don't think people sometimes, well, if it's not there, then you notice it. If you watch a movie that's kind of when it's done, you kind of go, oh yeah, they could have used better music for that movie.
Yeah.
So it worked perfect. You had a first class composer, and it worked. It really, I think it really does. They always say that too. If you watch the Oscars, they always talk about sound editing.
Oh yeah.
And, that's they still do those categories, because without that, your movie kind of falls flat. And I think that was incredible that you had him.
It's a huge part. It's half the picture, half the movie.
Is listening
right?
to
so. Yes, you have to take sound very seriously, and that's also where a lot of lower budget films go wrong, right? Because the filmmakers don't. They either won't or can't afford. They spent all their money getting the visuals down, so they couldn't afford a skilled individual to do the audio work, because you have to take the dialogue, you have to absolutely clean it up the best that you can. I mean, we had houses that were being roofed, roof put on, like. So that scene where Dad comes in and yells at Erica towards the beginning of the movie after she's in the hospital, right?
Mm-hmm.
That scene, there were nail gun sounds literally throughout that entire scene. And yeah, so I couldn't pay somebody to do it, so I had to teach myself how to do cinema level grading, like professional level sound editing, to remove all of that stuff, to get all of the dialogue absolutely even, and then mixing and adjusting all of that. Like, you can't even believe, you are literally, when you watch this movie, you are literally watching 3,000 hours of my life go by in an hour and a half.
Wow. Yeah, I liked your Facebook post. You're like, hey, want to buy 3,000 hours of my life? Here you go.
Yeah, you can rent 3,000 hours of my life for $3 on Amazon.
Right, exactly.
What's funny too is, like, if you ask the audience,
estimate.
Right.
Yeah, if you ask the audience, about movies like this, right? The people that don't know what goes into it, but all that work that you've done, like, they wouldn't be able to put their finger on, the movie has good quality music, or there was no extra sounds in the back. It's putting all those things together that they either go, that was a high quality movie, or there was something about it that didn't seem, people can pick that out pretty well. Like, that seemed like a low budget movie, or that was a really well done movie. Now, them going, oh, there was extra background noise, or they should have had a better score. No, they're not going to say that, but it's putting it all together, which is what you did a really good job of. And I don't think anybody would be able to put their finger on it other than go, it was a really great movie. Everything worked well together. They have no idea that it took 3,000 hours in the background to do that.
Yeah, but all of that time, like, that's another thing that other people won't do that I did, and that is, if it took me an hour to get rid of something in the film that I thought might be distracting to even one audience member, I took that hour and I just did it, whatever it took, to make sure. Now, this is how you know that you did okay on your movie, right? This is what I've learned after getting feedback on films like my whole life. This is what I've learned. If your feedback on your film is really nitpicky stuff, then you did a good job.
That's awesome.
Right?
Yeah.
Now, look at what's happening with Game of Thrones right now. Everything's perfect. The writing is just a little rushed, and everybody is losing their minds. Like, it doesn't take much to lose an audience at all. So taking care of the quality of every little piece of it. And think about it, there's only 89 minutes with which to make an opinion of a movie like this, right?
Mm-hmm.
If 1 minute is off, it ruins it, or 1 second, like, it will ruin your experience of the film. An audience, they're trusting you, right? They pay money and they decide to spend their time watching your film, right? Like, you have to respect all of the, and if you want thousands and thousands or millions of people to watch your movie, you have to respect the amount of human lifetime that is going to be spent. And you have to respect their time and their attention and what they're entrusting you with their mind and their emotions, that you are going to safely take them into the human experience and show them something about it and commiserate with them, and through your art and your craft, and that you're not going to let them down with rushed writing or poor audio or really bad color or anything like that. It's got to be good enough, and so that's, for me, it's out of respect, and it's to honor the audience's experience of the art. They're not there to experience crappy sound. They're there to experience the story, and if any of that gets in the way, that's why we frame out light stands and crew members and everything else, right? The audience doesn't want to see that. They want the story. So that's my goal, is to just give them the story and hopefully nothing else.
Yeah, and there was something about that I was fortunate enough I got to see it before it actually came out, and Jesse and I really pushed for it to be shown at the Texas Challenge a couple years ago.
That was cool.
Yeah, and so we were able to have it shown at a drive-in theater, which is incredible in itself to see a movie at a drive-in. But one of the things that was very surreal for different reasons. One is, we had all these people who were there, and I kind of felt like I was, both Jess and I kind of felt like we were sort of surrogate parents because you weren't able to be there. But wait, what is going on here? What is going on?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh!
What's up? Hi. Hey. Dang, looking good.
That's funny.
Hey,
Shanice Jordan, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh my gosh, guys.
That's right.
The
I'm
always
hugging
beautiful.
I'm hugging you through the video right now.
Hugs to everyone. Yeah.
Hug,
Yay. I love it. Guys, thanks for having me on the show.
Now the show can get started.
Now
the party's really getting started.
Speaking of
so what's up?
So
nothing much. We're just chatting.
Speaking of bad,
just chatting about the film Treasure being streamed on Amazon. What?
That's right.
You can rent it. You can buy it. It can be in everyone's household across the world.
That's right, the world. So for those that are listening to the audio part, we've got so Shanice Jordan, ladies and gentlemen.
Hello.
We can hear you. Yep. You're good.
I can't hear anyone.
Shanice, can you hear us, Shanice? Can you hear us?
Check. Oh, I hear.
Check.
You hear us? You hear me? Can you hear me?
I can't hear Gary. Gary looks like he's talking.
Yeah.
He's talking, but you can't.
Chris, tell her to
Gosh, dang it.
Tell her to leave and come back. Just do it.
If you log off and log back on, it might.
Okay. Yeah. I'm gonna try it. Okay. Okay. Bye. I'm gonna come back.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, I remember that Texas.
Texas event. Was she having audio too? Because I just left.
Yeah.
I was up. Now I'm gonna have to come back again. Okay.
Oh no, you can't.
As soon as she comes back, I'll have to come back again. I won't be able to hear anybody.
Well, let's see if we can get her on first, and let's try to get that part, because at the very least we'll try.
Here she goes.
All right, let's see if we can get everybody.
I can hear you.
Can you hear us? Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I can hear Chris. Wait, one more.
Jesse?
No, I can hear everybody but Shanice, so I'll come out and come back in.
Oh no!
She can hear Jesse.
Okay, he'll come back.
That'll have to work.
So Shanice, can you still hear us?
Yeah.
Okay, good. All right, good. Well, let's try to continue on.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. So let's hope that when Jesse comes back, he'll be able to hear everybody. So Jesse, can you hear? No, he's gone again. Okay, we're just going to move on. We've had a lot of technical difficulties tonight.
Oh, really?
So,
okay. It happens.
Hey,
it happens to the best
it's the show. We got to entertain people.
That's right.
We're moving on. So like I said, so Shanice is back. We did a show with Shanice too.
It was awesome.
Shanice, but you're out in the Great Northwest just right now. You lived out there for a while.
Yeah, I'm from here, and I moved back for some family reasons, and then I moved away again. I live in Atlanta now.
Right,
but
cool.
It was my grandmother's 80th birthday yesterday, and so so I organized this thing for like my entire family, because I have family in upstate New York, Texas, and we all decided to come together for her 80th. We went out to Cannon Beach, Beach. So if you guys like the Goonies Never Say Die was filmed at Cannon Beach, Oregon.
Yep.
And Haystack Rock is like the ending credits when like the pirate ship is sailing out. So we went there, had a great time, and we just threw her a surprise party with like all of her church family and her and like the rest of our family friends. And I mean, it was amazing. So it's been a great trip.
That is awesome.
And now I get to end it perfectly by being on the show.
You're on the show. That's awesome. So, I guess, Jesse, can you hear Shanice now?
I can actually hear everybody now, so that's great.
Yay!
Google's don't
I
like
can't hear Jesse, but you know what? He's adorable, and I can still see his cute little face.
Oh, you can't hear Jesse?
Oh, no.
Okay.
We're so close on the audio.
We're so close on the audio.
Anything he asks
you
her,
can just translate.
Yeah.
It's probably good to have a filter for me anyway.
We'll translate. So, okay.
We
right.
For her virgin ears, we can.
Yes,
that's right.
We should mute him anyway.
That's just always good advice.
So what? All right. So try to get the reins back on the show a little bit. All right. So the cool thing is, like I said, Shanice is living in Georgia, and I got her in touch with Katie because Katie is now, because she lives there. She finished graduate school, so that was kind of cool to have Shanice and Katie talking to each other. So that was neat.
Yeah, we're gonna meet up for coffee.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I love that. That's awesome. So you're going to love Katie. We all love Katie. She's great. So, yeah. So I want to talk a little bit about, we're talking about through different items of the movie, but we were talking about, we showed it in the drive-in. So I want to finish that. And I want to talk about Shanique's character, and Chris, how this all came about with Sierra. The character. So when we did the drive-in, one of the things that Jesse and I both didn't really realize, again, it was surreal seeing it in a drive-in. And like I said, we felt like surrogate parents because, you weren't able to be there, although I got you on the speaker and got to talk to everybody at the drive-in. But
so awesome.
We kind of felt like we were sort of like I said, we were sort of like adopted parents because we were there kind of representing you. And so we watched the movie, and the part where in the movie was everybody, you could tell the reactions were all because they'd never seen it before. So many genuine reactions, which I think is really cool. I know that it's always neat to, I know you've talked about it. I hear the Russo brothers talk about it with their movie, that they like to sneak in and watch audience reactions. So it was neat to walk around and listen to and hear people talking or different things they laughed at. But the part when Ansley talks about you have the part about the cancer, her mom sort of comes back, I guess you could say, in the movie.
Yep.
There were people genuinely crying. I mean, they were really touched because like we talked about, it's you were able to weave into this movie some different things that weren't just topics for a movie. People genuinely felt, because that's the whole thing, is you want people to relate to. People can relate to that. People can relate to the family,
loss,
right? People can relate to people have a cancer, and people can relate to, what the different characters go through. And I think that's, you did such a great job of character development. I mean, I'm an amateur here, so I'm just kind of telling you what I'm thinking. But each person, Shanice, her character goes through
huge personal growth.
She does.
Yeah. I wanted every character, all the main characters, to have an arc, especially basically Erica, her dad, and
Sierra.
Sierra. So basically, like, the whole movie is about second chances. So if Sierra didn't get a second chance, that'd be bunk. That's no fair.
Yeah.
Not cool.
True.
So, but she doesn't just leave and doesn't want anything to do with it. She's a good enough friend that she goes back and she earns it and makes certain that it's earned, So that's what I like about that. Now, the mom thing, like the whole point. Now, the original, when I was originally writing the basically the outline that would become the film, Erica had both parents, and there was a boyfriend, and she was drinking. Like, it was all this stuff.
Right.
And then I was trying to like have it coalesce into something, but it just wasn't working. And it wasn't until I thought, well, once I put geocaching in there and the soup kitchen and then mom being gone, I was like, oh my God. If I can feel it, chances are the audience can, right? So so what happened was mom's loss, like, I didn't want mom to just be somebody that they talked about being gone. I wanted the audience to feel like something was missing here, like really missing. Dad don't know how to act. Daughter don't know how to act. The whole glue's come apart. There's something missing. They mention her every now and then. We know this is missing, and we can feel it. And then what happened was there was a news article that I read, and what had happened.
Oh, it kind of locked up a little bit there.
Uh-oh.
Well,
hopefully he'll be back in a second. You know what? While he's coming back, it's interesting too, because he's not even mentioning the other part, which has already been brought up in the audience about Danny.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, come on. Danny. We'll wait till he gets back.
One second, Shanice. Jesse's making a comment, so hang on a second. Go ahead, Jesse.
I was just going to say that he played with emotions a lot because the audience is talking about Danny. The guy that died.
Right.
There's all kinds of playing with it, and Shanice's character too. Like, the hate at the beginning and the love when, later on when she goes through her emotions. So her second chance or whatever. He played with more than just the mom and the dad and Shanice's character, even the smaller characters.
Yes, he did.
People bought into those as well. So
yeah. Shanice, what Jesse's talking about is that he really he worked through several different characters. I mean, he really worked through the homeless man,
Danny.
He worked through Danny's character, and he was right about the your arc is in the movie. I think it's really good. Were you gonna say something, Jesse, real quick?
Well, we got to see it in the. We got to see it in the. You've already mentioned the drive-in.
Right.
But we also got to see it in the movie theater.
Yeah,
we got to see it in the movie theater, and we got to see people crying when Danny passed away. Like, actually crying. It was pretty crazy to see, because we were waiting to watch them watch it.
Yes,
which was pretty cool.
Yeah, he's talking about how we got to see it also in Kansas.
Right.
We got to see it in the theater, an actual theater. So that was really cool. So, but awesome. Hopefully we'll get Chris back. That's okay. So I did watch just today. I watched the end again, because I guess I've seen it. I can't tell you how many times I watched it. I watched it a lot. But the part where you walk back in and Ansley kind of, Erica turns and she kind of sees you and kind of like, what are you doing here? You need to leave right now. I mean, it's a very impactful moment, because we know that you're kind of making that, you're making a transition. You're making that, you're kind of getting through that second chance. Go ahead.
Right. Like, I'm being, Sierra is being intentional about coming to her friend with the humility that she wouldn't otherwise have before, and a new understanding of, or not an understanding, but a different awareness about the world, and like how she affects like the people around her, and like what one good thing she can do like generates other good things. Like, she's like, okay, step one, I have to make things right with my best friend. And the old Sierra would just like say, hey girl, let's pop some pills, let's drink some drinks, let's get out there, let's get those boys. And, newfound Sierra is, I know I was in the wrong. I love what you're doing with your life. I'm on board with it. If you want to let me be a part of it, I want to be a part of it. And I love what you're doing here. And, and that's why, like, she wants to help in the soup kitchen too. Like, she's like totally 180'd. And that's really cool too, because, like Chris said, this is a movie about second chances, like second chances for Ansley's character, the second chances for
her dad in the movie.
Her dad, yeah, I forgot what his name is in the movie. Erica's dad.
Yeah, Erica's dad.
No, I know John, but
yeah,
I forget
what is John's head? Yeah, but you get the idea.
I can't think right now.
But
anyway. Yeah, so like, because he doesn't know, like in the beginning, he's just this like frustrated, exasperated, like worked to the bone, doesn't know how to handle this angsty young adult, feels responsible because he's all that she has and she's all that he has. And so like this sense of obligation is there, but he's fed up. And, through her trials and everything, as far as, getting caught and working in the soup kitchen and geocaching and finding like this new, like geocaching, right, is like this hobby, but it helps her like feel connected to the world around her. Right. And like, that's like the cool thing about geocaching too, is that it connects you. It's like this internet that isn't an internet. It's like a connection of secret treasures and pieces of people. Yeah. It's really cool. And so like, that is like a thing that transforms her in a very subtle way, and it just fits in so nicely to the transformation that Erica and all the main characters are making throughout their growth in the movie.
Yeah, it's funny. I don't know if people realize that. I think I mentioned this before, but I want to mention it again when we had you on before for your show. After the show was over, we were talking about it. You're like, yeah, download the app, Shanice, and you post on Instagram because you went actually. You're like,
I found my first cache.
Yeah. So we had Sierra, who in the movie doesn't want anything to do.
That.
She's afraid of frogs. She's afraid of She's like, oh, there's a frog. I love that part.
Bugs.
But in real life, Shanice actually downloaded the app, and she's like, "Is there one? There's probably one. Is there one near here?" Like, yeah, we're looking, and we're like, based on you're at the coffee shop, and we're like, "Oh yeah, there's one across the street." And so we're like, so Jesse and I were like, hopefully she'll go find it. And then sure enough, it was half an hour later, or whatever. Even that, you kind of wandered over there and you post on Instagram that you'd found one. It was like, yes, we got Shanice to find one.
The crazy thing is that it was like even dark by the time I got over there.
Yes.
So the dedication, I can't tell you guys, like it was hard to find, and I had to bust out my flashlight.
Right.
And my phone flashlight. I was like double flashlighting it, looking for this geocache.
Right.
It was like camo taped.
Yeah.
I was like, they said this was an easy one.
Right.
What
we
happened?
thought it was easy. Yeah.
But it's because it was dark. But it was awesome. And also I felt like I was looking real sketchy at the time because it was like near a parking lot that was empty. People were just like going by. I'm like, nothing's happening, I swear. Like,
what's going on?
Yeah.
We felt
but it was
good.
Very gratifying.
So we had the bad girl from the movie actually go find one.
Yeah.
That was fun. That was neat. And so, it's interesting. Chris can't get back on, by the way, just to let you guys know.
Oh.
He's having, it says it won't allow him back into the call. So we're going to go ahead and continue on. We'll continue talking about this, and we'll work through it. And Chris will be at Geo Woodstock, so we'll have him pop on too. But something so we can talk about Chris behind his back a little bit. So this is good. Yeah. So when I first just to let you know, and I'll probably, Jesse, I'm gonna let you comment on this too. But when I first heard about the movie, I got in touch with Chris, and I was like, "Oh, a geocaching movie." And it's so much more than that. But when I contacted Chris, I'm like, "Hey, we're on board. We want to be able to support this, and what can we do?" And we had talked. Gosh, we talked way before the movie ever came out, and then we had him on the show. Actually, like almost 6 months before it first came out. So we're telling people, "Hey, there's a movie coming out in about 6 months. We're going to talk about it on the show." It's like, all right, I guess we're going to, and people loved it because they wanted to hear about it. But, it was something that we felt, well, there is no other. Jesse, can you think of another? Even nowadays, there's no movie. There was Splinter Heads, kind of mentioned it, and I don't know. It didn't
there's no true geocaching movie
Nothing's
like that,
really
and
good.
Right.
It's one of those things. So, for us, we heard about it, and I was very skeptical to start off because we're not going to endorse anything on the show that this isn't our job. This is our hobby, right? So we don't get paid to do this. We do this for fun.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm always very skeptical when I hear, "Oh, your hobby is now going to be in a movie." It's just like whatever your job is. If you see it reflected in a movie, you throw up the flag really quick, like they don't know what they're doing.
Right.
But this one wasn't like that. So we were able to endorse it and really get behind it and see it in multiple formats. So that's why it's been so much fun for us to watch it grow, because we could actually endorse it and feel good about it. So I'm not going to endorse it if it's just if it's a terrible movie. We're not going to get on. We don't get paid to do this. I'm not going to do it for free. So
no.
We do this for free. So we're only going to endorse it if we really value it. And this was a good movie. Geocaching included or not included, it was a good movie. So
yeah, it was a good movie, even with or without the geocaching. So hats off, Shanice. He was just saying that we weren't going to endorse it if it was not any good. And so,
well, you guys had said that there were other movies that had had geocaching in them, but that they weren't really good movies. They were just movies that had geocaching, and that's why they were even a thing.
Yeah.
So that particular community had been needing something like that, right?
Absolutely.
And so it's amazing to be a part of a project that it is obviously a great film, and it's like very heartwarming. It showcases like good values and forgiveness and things like that. But then also it like gets to cater to this amazing community that doesn't necessarily like get the attention or sort of like fun things that it deserves like that. And so it's really cool to be able to be a part of it.
Yeah, it's very true. There's there've been a couple attempts. We were contacted by some people very nice. They said, "Hey, go check our movie. It's got geocaching. Go check out this movie." And so actually it was on Amazon. I bought it, watched it, and I was like, no, that one. I'm sorry, but that it was you talk about a horror movie. This thing was bloody. And
we can't do that.
No, we can't do that. It was
a horror geocaching movie.
Yes, yeah. They go out. This group of friends.
I can see where this is going.
Oh yeah, you can see where this is going. They go out to this park, and they camp, and then they sort of go off in little groups to find geocaches and basically get killed. So it just
okay, cool. Yeah, geocaching Blair Witch Project, right?
Right, exactly.
Which can still be a good movie. We can't get behind that.
No, we can't get behind that. So anyway, so I let them know that we were not, so anyway, but
this is not for us.
Not for us. And so, but what was neat was showing it. Like I said, we showed it in the, we showed it at the drive-in, and then we were able to be a part of showing it in Kansas.
Yeah,
and Manhattan, Kansas. And so, and then when it came out, where you could buy it. Got the DVD, the Blu-ray. I got the Blu-ray, and then I know it's so cool. And then he's got the trackable, the hidden trackables. I have a copy of the coin. I can't show the coin.
Yeah.
So where's the code on the coin? There it is. I got to cover up the coin.
Hide the code.
I gotta hide the code because I don't know if I've ever. So there's the coin that was in the movie, not this coin.
With Jazzy.
With Jazzy, yeah. This isn't the actual, but he sold some of them. There was a mini coin that was made thanks to AFK geocaching, Jesse Tuttle and them. They made another mini coin. I don't know if you've ever seen this one, Shanice, but I haven't. It is in the movie where Erica grabs the little in the very first scene. She grabs the little dinosaur. She goes, that's me, Dorky Erica. And they made a coin with the little clapper thing.
That's adorable.
Yeah,
that's adorkable.
It's adorkable,
right.
Very adorkable. So, and then of course, the Gigantor. I showed you that the other day, but there's the Gigantor treasure coin.
Yeah, dude, I love that. It's like Game of Thrones.
Yeah, it is. It's kind of big compared to that one. So, but anyway, so I'm so glad that Chris had those made, and the backs of these coins. I hope he has some somewhere, but the back comes off, and you can get different backs to snap. Yeah, it's got kind of an extra little doodad.
I didn't realize that. That's awesome.
Yeah, the back part comes off, so you can. So it's got like little inserts. Anyway, it's kind of cool. But anyway,
that's awesome.
So it shows you the kind of, and people have embraced it. I don't know if you get a comment periodically that you get to see, but people love your character because they hate her at the same time.
Yeah,
but they love to hate her. They love to hate her some of the part of the time. It's like Ansley's character though. At first you're like, this girl,
like,
this girl's driving me crazy. And
lost cause.
and you're not helping. You're like, hey, you want to go out tonight? You're like, oh no, she can't go out right now. She's got problems. You're like,
screw the rules. Yeah,
you're like, care. You're like, hey, I'm bored. Let's go. So your character really does work. Really works great, and
thanks.
She really does. So I'm glad that you're able to do that. So
I am too. It was really a great learning experience.
Yeah, and so now you're going to be back. Well, now you moved back to Atlanta.
Yeah. So living in Atlanta, I just moved there in January, so still sort of in transition. I've gone on a couple of theater auditions. I haven't really tackled film yet. But when I get back from this trip, I'm really like I'm moving like into a new from an apartment to a house, and so like that like is I know I'm so excited because I just got a puppy and he's gonna have a little yard. It's great, but I'm gonna really like start as soon as I'm like moved in. I'm gonna really start hitting up as many auditions as I can, getting those projects going.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, would you say that theater was your first love, or I mean it's still, I mean, and we hear people talk about this that are in the business about, I love theater. Well, the fellow that just came off of Big Bang Theory, Parsons, he mentioned about one of the things he wants to do is he wanted to get out of, it's an incredible TV show. He wanted to get back into theater because he wants to get back on Broadway because for him, there was something about theater he was kind of missing. So, I mean, for, I think you've said before, it's like, there's something about theater that really touches you.
Well, yeah. I mean, there's so many things. For one, there's something to be said about the rehearsal process alone in theater and how rigorous it is and how many hours you're putting in to your character work and your stage direction and your relationship with your stage partner or partners. That you don't get in film. I mean, you're lucky to get a rehearsal for a film. Like maybe one or two, but certainly not hours worth. You're expected to do all of your work ahead of time. So oftentimes you're coming to a set and you're meeting your scene partner for the first time.
Oh,
and
wow.
boom, you have to make out with them, or you never. I mean,
right.
like,
just get it done right there.
I mean, and like you talk about it beforehand, but like you just have to live in that moment, and it can be intimidating, and I mean, it's fine. It's part of the training, but but with the rehearsal process of theater, I just feel like you discover so much more about the character and about yourself as an actor. Like it just takes a lot of commitment, right? That amount of time alone is a big commitment. And so unless you're serious about your craft, you're not committing to that. So there's something about theater actors that I love, because I love working with them, because I love that level of dedication, because it makes me a better actor, right? And it ups my game to work with people that want to up their game.
Cool.
So I love that. I also love the energy of the audience. Like there's nothing like, stepping out on the stage, or like being backstage right before you're about to go on. Like the feeling inside you, it's like,
right.
I mean, it's nervousness, but like you can use it, right, as like this outstanding energy, and like bring that to your work, and it changes too. Like every audience gives off a different energy. And I love feeding off of that. It makes you live in the moment so much. And it's incredible, because with film, and this is like an amazing thing about film, it's a challenge, but it's an amazing thing, is that like you have to think about everything. Like you have to live in the moment, but you have to also remember every single thing you're doing, because take to take, you're like, I lifted my right hand to my right temple at this point in the line. And so every take, I have to make sure to lift my right hand to my right temple on this word in this line.
Right.
But I also have to live in the moment and make it believable.
Right. I love it. Yeah.
And it's amazing. And thank God for the editing process, because the people in post-production are the ones that actually make us look like we know what we're doing.
Right. No, it's true, because in a theater, you could do the same performance and it doesn't have to be exactly the same, because it's a theater. It's theater. Yeah. Right. I always my kids got to be in, and they're gonna kill me for mentioning this, but they were little party boys in the Nutcracker.
Oh my gosh, I love that.
Yeah, I got copies of it, because it was they did it with a Russian ballet troupe, and so they had to.
That's amazing.
They did the whole thing. The Russians, of course, did all the work, and they're just But the thing is like, oh, we're gonna do, I forget what it was, like 6 performances or whatever. I'm like, oh my gosh, which is nothing compared to like doing a Broadway or something where you're doing you're hoping to run for weeks. So
yeah.
You did you've had a couple that you did up, like even in Washington. Were some of them kind of run for a while, or?
Yeah. So the most recent like big production that I did was in just outside of Portland, Oregon, actually, with a company called the Broadway Rose Theater Company. And they primarily they do musicals, like that's their thing. And then they have some children's theater that they do. And I actually was lucky enough to be cast in Mamma Mia this last summer with them, and at the same time, it was so much fun. And at the same time, oh my god! But is there such a thing as too much ABBA? I feel like no.
Absolutely, absolutely not. There's not enough ABBA. No,
like you can't listen to ABBA and be in a bad mood ever.
Never. Right? You're right. Go ahead.
It's uplifting.
I'm sorry. It is. You're right.
So I got to do that. And then I also did at the same time one of their children's productions. It was a Cajun version of Beauty and the Beast, which sounds like super weird. Like when I went to the audition, I saw Beauty and the Beast, and I was like, okay. Well, so I saw that they had called me back for Beauty and the Beast, and I was like, okay, I guess like who are they calling me back for? Like I guess Belle. I mean, I don't know. And then I get into the audition room with some other actors, and they handed us the script like right before. We didn't even get a chance to look at it before we went to the audition room, and I think they did that intentionally,
right?
Because we go in there, and then I'm like reading some of the stage directs, it's like in the swamp, blah blah blah, and I was like, what swamp?
The swamp? There's no swamp in Beauty and the Beast.
Right. And my director was like, so we're obviously in the swamp, and we were in this like room that had like storage stuff. And I laughed. I was like, thinking she was calling the room the swamp.
Yeah.
Like, and not the actual. And she was like, no, we're in like the Louisiana Bayou. I was like, oh. She was like, so, whatever accent you want to throw on, just give it your best attempt. And I was like, oh, Cajun accent? Like that's not listed under my special skills, man.
Like, it's not on my sheet. I don't know Cajun.
Do you want British RP? I can do that. I've been trained in that. Like, can I try that instead?
Right. Can we make this a British Beauty and the Beast?
Right.
Instead of a Cajun Beauty and the Beast?
Yeah.
Wow.
So, where'd Jesse go?
Oh, he'll be back. Hopefully.
Okay.
If he comes back, maybe he'll be able to hear you, because he can hear me, but he can't hear you. So it's kind of awkward for him.
Oh, so. Yeah.
Oh, well.
I mean, same. I can't hear him. And
Yeah, so, that's fine.
Anyway, so we ended up doing the Cajun version of Beauty and the Beast. And I was a pelican. Like, instead of having like, Cogsworth and Lumiere, the Belle character whose name was Angeline, she had a gator and a pelican with a broken wing, and I was the pelican with a broken wing.
Pelican.
Yeah, and like the gator and the pelican like had like a love for one another, but also like the gator would chase the pelican around and like threaten to eat her all the time. It was super goofy and silly and adorable, and I had the best time doing it.
I love it. So Jesse, can you hear anybody, Jesse? Just real quick. No, he can't hear us. Okay, keep going. So that's kind of hard to play. I mean, have you ever played an animal before? I mean, that's kind of crazy.
It was my first time with animal work, and I was so excited for it. And
that's awesome.
Honestly, I started like looking up YouTubes of like pelicans walking and like listening.
How do they walk?
They do like a sort of like swish, like
right.
It's like very like bottom heavy, like
right. That's great.
I also had a broken wing, so I had to like play that too. So I was like a pelican with a broken wing, so I'd like try and fly, and then I was like, oh, it hurts,
Just great. So you go from Jesse, can you hear us?
I can hear you both.
Oh,
you can hear me? Oh, you can hear both of us?
Yeah.
Yes.
Nice. I can read your lips.
Yeah.
Oh
no.
You can't hear. Okay.
That's special skills though.
But that's okay. He can hear me, so I can like see him reacting to what I'm saying. So that's fine.
There you go.
Yeah, he can hear you, so that's good. But you can't hear him. Oh well, that's okay. We're working through it. So yeah, incredible. And so I'm so glad to hear, that, and we talked about before, and I mentioned to you before, I really appreciate when people take the time to take care of family. And without getting into detail though, but I do appreciate what you did to take the time to take care of your family. You kind of put career on hold there for a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. And I don't mind getting into it, for those who are tuned in, like, my grandfather was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. And when I was living in New York, I had moved up to New York. I was there for about 10 months, and I was studying at Stella Adler Studio and the Upright Citizens Brigade. So I was going to such amazing classes, getting like a great network of acting friends and family up in New York. Loved living there. And then I got the call from, my aunt who had been in town with my grandfather,
right, saying
that he was diagnosed with stage 4 liver cancer. And he was like sort of the patriarch of our family, and so strong, and like a Renaissance man, could fix and make anything out of anything. And his biggest fear was to, die in a facility or in a hospital. And, I was really the only person that didn't have kids or like a job that they couldn't walk away from. And I mean, it just made sense. Like, there was no way I was going to let him not live the best that he could in his last moments with us and to make my grandmother's life, because she's, 78. She couldn't do that.
Sure.
So, yeah, it was a really rewarding thing, because I can't honestly remember a time in my childhood that these two people weren't there for me. Like, they went to every volleyball game, every track meet, every choir concert, every solo and ensemble, every theater thing I was in, like everything I ever did. Mm-hmm. So the least I could do was to be there for them this time. And I don't regret it at all. It taught me so many lessons. I, was sort of reconnected with my grandmother in a different way, and an appreciation for her. And I learned things about them and about the rest of my family that I never would had I stayed in New York. Right. And, got reconnected with a great church family. And so it was super, super rewarding in very unexpected ways. And I ended up, finding an amazing acting community in the Northwest that will always be a family to me too. And so where one door closes, another one opens. Life is always coming at you. You have to always reprioritize. And sometimes your career gets put on the back burner, but it doesn't. What I learned in that time has benefited me as an actor, because it's made me a more realized human being.
Wow. No, that's great. And, I speak for everybody who is part of the Geocache Talk family, all our listeners, everyone, like I said, it means a lot to us that, people take the time to do that, because like you mentioned, some people wouldn't do that. And so it does, it means a lot to us. And we appreciate folks that take the time to do that. And so
thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Thank you for all that you do there. And thank you so much for coming on tonight. We look forward to, take a photo with Katie for us, if you would, and post it.
Yes.
Because
I will.
We love Katie. She's actually part of the Geocache Talk family now. We have a couple affiliates. We have Jeff May, who's in Canada, and Katie. Katie's is part of our family, and she does have an announcement. I told you about it. I think she wants to kind of make the announcement herself about her new job, so we won't talk about what it is, but we're very excited about her new job. So everyone, stay tuned. Katie's gonna mention it at some point here in the near future, but we are all very excited. Being now out of film school, as a graduate. So she's finished her bachelor's, she finished her master's, and she's able now to do that. And so it's kind of neat that we now have two people that we know, in the business now in different roles, because and so anyway, we're excited.
Both in Hotlanta.
That's right, Hotlanta. But well, definitely we'll definitely keep in touch. And Jesse, did you want to mention about what the sort of a call to action for people? So go ahead and mention to people what we need them to do. And then
sorry for the audio.
I'll wrap up and I'll come back to you, Shanice, in a minute. Go ahead, Jesse.
Sorry for the audio tonight. I don't know why we're having such issues with it, but obviously this one is out there. But the go on Amazon, even if you've already seen it, write a review. Put that on there. Get it, rent it, watch it with the family. You got plenty of time. It's there for rent and to purchase. Right. Put the reviews out there. That spreads the word for people that haven't seen this or don't know what geocaching is, didn't heard about it before. People get on those reviews, really drive it up to the top. Let people know about the movie. It's more than just a geocaching movie. So make sure you get out there and review it properly. We're not asking you to inflate it. It's good enough. You don't have to, right? Absolutely. But get out there, review it, rent it, buy it, spread the word.
Yeah, that's the beauty of it now being on Amazon, is that one of the things that happened before is like, well, my Blu-ray doesn't work or my DVD doesn't work, or now you can go rent it. You can go rent it for a few bucks and watch it
on your phone, on your laptop, on your iPad, on your smart TV.
That's exactly right. So there's no reason not to. And like I said, and like Jesse said, it's such a fun movie, and please go give it a review. It means a lot to Chris just to get the review alone, but it also helps with all these various algorithms. he needs the reviews because he needs to show them that he can do a worldwide distribution. And so to get a worldwide distribution, which would, all those geocachers who that are out there in the world, because it's a worldwide, sport, that aren't able to see something like this, when the word gets out and we can share the word through various geocaching groups, that this movie is then now available in, say, Ireland or somewhere, to get that worldwide distribution, Australia, New Zealand, all these different places, it's important that we get that algorithm in. And I know he got a bunch after we made that call, but everyone who's out there, we're listened to, Shanice, in 60 something countries. And so everyone, wherever you are, even if you haven't seen it yet, let us know where you're at, because we can let Chris know. Email us geocachetalk@gmail.com so that he can work on that. He really was want to do that worldwide distribution. So yeah, we're sorry for the problems tonight. We will do a quick wrap up and go around the room like we normally do and have everybody kind of give their final thoughts, even though that Shanice can't hear Jesse and Jesse can't hear Shanice. Jesse can hear Shanice, but can't hear. So I want to start with Shanice. I'm going to start with you, and then I'm going to go to Jesse, and then I'll have a couple parting thoughts. So what are some of your final thoughts on the distribution of treasure and everything coming out?
The distribution of treasure. This is so much more than just like you guys have said, so much more than just a geocaching movie. It's like an all-around good film. It's a passion project for Chris. I mean, like I can't advocate for him enough. Like he's not only a great writer, director, producer, actor also, by the way.
Oh wow.
He's taken acting classes and he's pretty good.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
But he works harder than anyone. He's one of the hardest working people I've ever met in my life. Yeah. And I mean, to call this as a passion project is even probably an understatement for him. This is he's dedicated his life to this for the last 6 years, so just that alone, I'm he deserves this more than anybody out there that I know. Yeah. And so it would mean the world to him, and it would mean the world to everybody that's been a part of this project. And I'm sure to you guys too. I mean, like you said, you feel like you sort of adopted us and taken us under your wing too. Mm-hmm. This is your project too, so we're all super, super grateful for the attention and the positivity it's received so far. We want to keep that momentum going so that we can touch the hearts of people worldwide. So yeah, just rent it, buy it, tell your friends about it, and write those reviews.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. All right, Jesse, what are some of your final thoughts?
Well, we've kind of mentioned it before, but it's easy for us to get behind this one in all the different forms as it came out, because we can endorse it because it's a quality movie. It's family friendly, which is, but also there's a lot of bad examples in the media of this game that we play, people that mess up and do wrong things. So there's hardly ever, and now that it's on Amazon, we can tell people, hey, if you want to see a real example of it and something that they would understand, it's easy to point them to the movie. Hey, there's a family-friendly movie that has this in it, and it's not the bad stuff, and it's not a terrible depiction of it. And we have no problem, or I have no problem pointing somebody to it and go, no matter what your family situation is, you can watch this. Plus, it's a good movie. So it's great. We win a couple times by endorsing this. One, it's a great movie, and it's fun. But two, it's a positive depiction of the hobby that we have. So plus, it's just I've seen it several times now.
Yeah.
So it's but I definitely encourage people a lot to watch it. So
yeah, no, I agree. Again, sorry folks for some of the problems tonight, but I think most of it is good on audio. Hopefully, I don't know, Jesse, were you able to watch the chat room at all tonight a little bit, or?
Yeah, they could hear all of us.
Okay, good.
I guess we just couldn't, Yeah,
that's okay. As long as they had a good experience, I got to hear everybody, but Very good. All right. So real quick, upcoming shows. Next week, Jesse and I will do our live audience participation. Hopefully, we won't have any problems with the Google Hangout on air. But we're going to do a live audience from the GPS Maze at Geo Woodstock. And if you're in town still, next Sunday night, actually not Sunday night, we're doing the show at 3 p.m. next Sunday because we want to be able to capture some of that. And 8 p.m., they're going to have that maze all shut down by that point. So we wanted to do a little bit earlier show. So it'll be 3 p.m. next Sunday at the maze. And so if you're in the area, come by, be part of the studio audience. Who knows? You might actually make it on the show. We'll
especially
see
if you heckle Gary.
Yeah, you heckle me, I'm putting you on. I'm just gonna give you the thing and just do it yourself. So no, I'm kidding. And then in 2 weeks, we're going to do. I can't believe this, Jesse. It's our 3rd anniversary show.
I know.
Congratulations, you guys!
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Thank you so much. 3rd anniversary show with Daryl W4. So he was on show 1. He was on the show last year for the 2nd anniversary, and he'll be back for the 3rd anniversary show. Show 151. I can't believe we've done the 150 shows now. Well, next week will be 150. And then in 3 weeks, we are going to talk about the new virtuals 2.0 and what all that's going to entail and what are some options for people. I've actually got some ideas already, Jesse, some places that I think the new virtuals would fit well. And so hopefully, fingers crossed, I get one and maybe you'll get one. I know people that got one before can't get one this time. So that limits the amount of, instead of 3 million geocachers, we've kind of lowered the number of people that are eligible. So hopefully at least one of us will get one so we can talk even more about it. But anyway, all right. Well, I hope everybody enjoyed the show tonight. Email us comments, geocachetalk@gmail.com. Thank you, Shanice, for being there. You were the trooper that made it through. We lost Chris, but we'll have Chris on again sometime. It's just fun to be a part of this with you guys, and so it's wonderful.
Thank you so much.
You bet. Well, don't forget to follow us on Twitter, Instagram. Jesse does a lot of our Instagram. I pretty much handle the Twitter and the Facebook. Facebook.com/Geocache Talk. Show can be found on iTunes, Stitcher, TuneIn Radio, Spotify, as well as the Geocache Talk website. Pardon me, geocachetalk.com. Go check that out. We're always trying to put something new out there periodically. Also, don't forget to click on the subscribe button below, ring the bell so that you can be notified and you can hear the show on a weekly basis. Very important this week because Jesse and I plan to do impromptu shows when we're at Geo Woodstock. And so if we do that, you will be notified. So definitely don't miss the subscription so you can get notified when we do a pop-up show. So, and get involved when you can in the chat room. Tell your friends about the show. Let them know. That's how we kind of, grow as we get spread the word around. And so we appreciate everyone being there and means a lot to us each week. So again, we thank you. Until next week, don't just talk about geocaching. Go get you a copy of Treasure or rent it, like Shanice said, or go buy it. And also do a review for Chris. It means a lot. And then after that, do like Shanice did last time and go geocaching.
Go geocaching.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.